What can you do? What can you do? Is it hot in here? Or is it just me? All right. The song is amazing. All right, guys. Thank you so much, all you nighttime, right time warriors. Thank you for switching times with us this week. We've had we've had an incredible week. I tell you what, it's I feel like we're getting a little bit of pep in our step. We're getting more excited every day. Man, it's been an incredible week. We've had really just lots of fun stuff going on.
I think highlight is that we can do tastings again in our tasting room.
Oh.
We hoped it would happen, which is why we moved to 8, and it happened.
Yeah.
Yesterday we opened for tastings for members, obviously reduced capacity, but awesome. So awesome to have people back.
Yeah, today was really great. Just we were only open at 25%, but it was really amazing to be able to do tastings for our wine club members. Saw so many amazing faces, and it was the coolest. It was to look down and actually see our tasting room. When I say full, obviously we've changed up the way all the seats are and all that good stuff. And it was seriously a great day. So guys, I hope you're strapped in, you're ready to go. Please pour some wine in your glass. Let's start with the Timmons Estate Mourvèdre. Start sipping on that and enjoying that.
Smell it first. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, before I forget too,
we had some shout outs.
Yeah, Marianne Grams, by the way, I hope you're watching. Your son was in the other day and your daughter-in-law, and we hope you're doing very well. Thank you so much for catching us. I think she's been on every single time, so thank you. Dottie Gregory, which is Tate's grandma. We love you. We love Tate, by the way. Tate is one of our newest Vineyard guys. He's killing it. He's doing such a great job.
It's not even new anymore. It started like Christmas time.
There's like 2 more new guys behind him.
Yeah.
Who else we got? Sarah McGowan, Jennifer.
So we have Sarah McCollum.
Oh, wrote this.
I didn't write that. We got
Kelsey.
Jennifer Wenicky, Lisa Glenn, Kent Doobie, Christopher Ledbetter, Monica and Bill Shalom, Ellen Tucker, Alta Frazier, I'm going fast, Bill and Connie Zielinski, Brian White Eagle, and Andrew Nunmaker. You guys are in our double-digit club. Thank you for the huge support you've given us throughout these virtual tastings. We love you all so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. You know, we have our whole team. Like I can't describe the. I mean, it was like we're like racehorses this morning, getting ready just to see everybody. You know, getting ready for the day. Of course, it wasn't a typical Saturday by any means, and that's okay. But it was just so refreshing to have so many great folks sitting all over the lawn. Kids were doing bubbles. It was so cool. It was so cool. And on that note, too, guys, when you're ready, please make a reservation. We still have our membership open for a few. I don't know, maybe another week. We'll see. We still have some more spots open. So if you're interested, please check us out on WilliamChrisWines.com. Thank you. But seriously, because of you guys, we're able to not only survive, but we're able to thrive. And from the bottom of our hearts, to the 64 families, we can't say thank you enough because you guys have kept us going. So we love you so incredibly much. And when you're ready, whether that's this week, next month, next year, we're ready to see you back here at the winery. We're working very hard to keep our team safe, our customers and our fans safe. Chef Ty's working on a bunch of new food stuff, which is pretty cool. He was passing out some really cool things today, getting some fan feedback. So get ready. I think there's going to be a little bit of a new menu, and also looks like maybe next week or the week after we'll start the private food pairings as well, which would be pretty awesome. So
glad to get back to that.
Yeah, we have so much. Like, we have an action-packed. We have a super busy tasting today. I hope you're ready. I hope you've got wine in your glass.
If you just tuned in, we just poured the Timmons Estate Mourvèdre.
Yes.
All of our wines are 2017 vintage tonight, and this is the Timmons Mourvèdre.
We're doing a horizontal tasting, which is pretty awesome. Guys, let's start with the Timmons Estate.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, this wine was inspired by a trip to southern Spain with Andrew Sides, one of my dearest friends and one of my other partners. And he and I had so much fun in the southern area of Spain. We tasted all these really great, delicious, light, fruit forward, but when I say light in color, but not necessarily light in body, and really great acidity. And there were all these incredible food-friendly wines. And we learned more and more about the production and how they only spent 6, 7, 8 months in concrete or in wood or both, and then were blended back together. And that's how this was born. This is the second vintage. We started in 16, and then really in 17. We kind of came about on this wine. So this only spent about 7 months in mostly large format, which means a large oak cask, which really came out beautifully. I couldn't be more happy with this wine. I think, like, personally, this is like one of our go-to wines at the house. We drink quite a bit of this. It grows so well with our cuisine. When I say our cuisine, I mean Texas cuisine.
Right. So what would you pair this with?
The other day we had this with Tex-Mex, which I know, I think it's kind of a cop-out saying Tex-Mex, but I'll say it anyways. But the other day we had this, we had this with fajitas, and it was epic.
It was so good.
We also ate it with some quail eggs, we were in South Texas.
Legs, not eggs.
Yeah. I love I love quail eggs too, but quail legs.
So we had that.
Also, guys, I want to highlight, and we're going to bring on, we have a lot of special guests coming on tonight. I want to highlight the 2017 vintage. We're tasting all 2017 wines.
That's what it means to do a horizontal.
Yes.
Well, that's part of what it means.
Okay. Sorry.
When you do a horizontal wine tasting,
Yeah.
you're doing
Got me all
same
excited.
vintage, same grape,
Yes.
or the same blend perhaps.
Yes.
But these are all just single varietal.
So you're getting to taste 4 different wines picked in the same year, but they're all from different vineyards. And I want you to know that, first of all, I need to say thank you to Bill Blackman, one of my best friends and my business partner, and the William part of William Chris. He has followed me down this rabbit hole of Mourvèdre and supported me every bit of the way. And he's watching right now. He's actually going to jump in here in a few minutes. But he's really just hung in there. We made Mourvèdre first in 2010. And this is out of Andy Timmons' vineyard at Lostraw. And he really supported it. Bill was, the 2010 vintage was okay, but it wasn't epic. And it was more on the winemaking side and not necessarily on the vineyard side. And Joe Farley, a very dear friend out of California, really talked methodology. Mourvèdre I think grows really, really well in it is from a vineyard management standpoint. But once you get in the winery, she can be kind of finicky. Kind of reminds me of somebody else, if we know it. But Joe Farley really helped us out, and we're so blessed to be able to share our production techniques with all the other folks in Texas. And I think Mourvèdre is quickly becoming a widely planted grape in Texas. It's also fantastic because we can go and be in a more competitive market. I think we can grow amazing Cabernet, don't get me wrong, or a very good Cabernet, most vintages. I think we can grow amazing Cinsault and Grenache and in Tannat and Sangiovese. But I think that Mourvèdre is so expressive of where it's grown. It just fires me up. And I know that all you guys watching understand the passion that we at William Chris have for Mourvèdre, because it's almost 40% of our production. Last year we found out we're the second largest Mourvèdre producer in the country, which is kind of crazy. We
weren't even trying.
Yeah,
we almost won.
That's right. So this is grown in. Kelsey, can you pull up the vineyard map? So this is grown in. God bless anybody who's watching this on your phone right now.
Tiny.
It's pretty tiny, yeah. But so
okay, screenshot and zoom in later.
This is grown almost in Lubbock. That's perfect. Thank you. So that top dot is Lubbock County. That's where Timmons Estate is. We're also going to be tasting, guys, from both of the other dots, which are pretty close to where they actually are. The Lostraw and in Farmhouse Vineyard. So you can take that off. Thank you, Kelsey. Let's bring in one of my.
Well, we have to, if we're bringing him in, I'd say bring him in between.
Yeah, I think we should bring him in right now.
Okay, never mind. You had a good idea, and I stopped you for nothing.
What else is in there? Yeah, I just want you to recognize that.
Yeah, I admitted it this time. It's the only time I've ever messed up.
I get one every day. So let's bring on Andy Timmons. He's sitting here, and guys, I wanted to let you know this is how badass our growers are. We've got a couple of our growers in the high plains. They're like, there's a tornado, there's hail, right now. Andy's in a bunker. He locked his wife out. No, did you leave more in it? Did you let her in the bunker or no?
No, only the unexpendable people are in the bunker.
You're quarantined enough. You're like,
yeah. And I will deny that if you say that, if you let her know that.
Only one we have such a beautifully decorated bunker.
I know this is kind of, this has been kind of my spot. I don't know. It's got, my beautiful wife that decorates all this stuff. And so, she's got these lanterns bookending my head and this beautiful picture. And so, yeah, this has kind of been my home during COVID quarantine.
Well, Andy, you're literally you live at the Timmons Estate.
I do. Yeah.
About
sure. And as a matter of fact, if we hadn't had these storms, I was actually gonna do it on my back porch and show the background would have been the Mourvèdre that's right here by our house. But it's too windy. I was afraid you guys couldn't hear me.
Sure. Well, thank you for that. Well, Andy, tell us how the Timmons Estate got started and kind of go into the 2017 vintage.
Yeah. Well, Timmons Estate, it ended up being, we were going to build a house in Lubbock. And instead of buying a lot, we decided to buy a 20-acre parcel of land, build a house on it, and build a vineyard around it. And, one thing it did for me is I always wanted to farm in Lubbock County because the soil is so much different than it is in Terry County. It's a lot more made up more of a lot of clay. So the soil's darker. It doesn't have the red tint to it that the soils in Terry County do. It holds water really well. You know, and it's kind of amazing. We've only been here. We established the vineyard in 2013, and we were 2 miles away from the city limits. And now the city limits is actually on our east border. So we're about to be encompassed by the city. So there's houses all around us. You know, but really one thing I do like about it is that it really exposes a lot of people in the area to what a vineyard can look like and what it can do in the high plains. You know, and try to get people to look at the vineyards, and then when they ask questions about it, you know, be sure guys go, you know, to see the wineries that buy fruit from us. But you know, we've got like 6 varieties we planted up here. This is basically a big test plot, and about 4 acres of it is Mourvèdre. And I put it around the house because I think Mourvèdre is one of the most beautiful vines that grow in the vineyard. And we wanted something like that surrounding the house. And so that's how we chose Mourvèdre for up here.
Well, and I'll say that there's the most beautiful view in his hot tub of Mourvèdre block. And,
it is, yeah. Yeah, you just turn and look out and you're right there, yeah.
Well, I don't think the story ends there, Andy. You know, I know you were on with the anniversary
Yes,
tasting, which I really appreciate. But seriously, man, thank you so much. You've always been there for us. I feel like we started. I mean, you planted the Lost Straw block for me, or contracted it to me before William Chris was even William Chris, and I'll never forget the day.
Yeah. Well, hey, I grow it. You're the one that made it famous. I just keep you in supply, man. You became the largest you know, user and producer of Mourvèdre because you were the one that tackled it, because we didn't know what to do with it at the first. Honestly, we were talking about, well, they make rosés out of it or whatever, but like you were like, man, we need to make red wine out of this. And so it's been definitely a process between us in the last month. Dude, this is the 10th vintage of Mourvèdre. Yeah. I mean, it's been a 10-year process, and I will say Mourvèdre is definitely different vintage by vintage, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely, and I think that you're getting this like timestamp in these 2017, and 2017 was frankly an incredible vintage. I mean, one that I'll never forget, and I wish, you know, 2020 is going to be an interesting one, and I know we'll get into that.
Sure.
I wish that we could relive 2017 over and over and over again.
Well, I do, except for La Pradera. That was the first year La Pradera was going to be in production, and on Easter of 2017, it completely held it out.
That's right. I forgot.
And that's also the year that Lauren and I and you guys went to France, and it was crazy. Like we were going at different times, and we were going to go to Paris each on their own couple, you know, has them a long time, and in the whole town of Paris. We're walking down the street, and who do we meet? Like you guys. Do you remember that? Like just accidentally meet you on the street in Paris.
Yeah, we weren't supposed to see you until the next day, and then we're just walking through a giant crowd, and we're like, wait, I know you.
Like, that guy's kind of tall for a French dude. Who is that? Like,
just so everybody out there knows too, I still owe you a lot of money for all the speeding tickets.
Yes, you sure do.
So, pro tip: if you ever go to France, let your buddy rent the car and then you drive. Because I drive like an asshole and speeding. I was like, man, there's no cops anywhere. And then like 2 months later, Andy gets a like a $600 speeding all the
tickets.
Well, I kept wondering what these flashes were when we were going down the Autobahn, you know, like, why is this flash? I found out about 2 months later.
They were taking our picture.
Oh my god!
And the euro dollar exchange rate wasn't quite as good back then as it is now either. So,
well, Andy, let's switch up to the Lost Straw Mourvèdre. Let's keep on going. You know, I think you're going to get polar opposite here, and I'll give you a little. A heads up, or for all the folks that are watching out there, these are made in totally different styles too. The 17 Timmons estate was only about 7 months in mostly large oak cask and in barrel, and then bottled and laid down before we released it. And it's so fresh, so aromatic. And the Lost Draw Mourvèdre was made in a similar style, but it's been about 18 months, and mostly Eastern European oak. And I'll also say that I think this is always my wife's. This is the fastest way to my wife's heart right here.
Yeah, Lost Straw Mourvèdre every time, every vintage.
Yeah, it's been my favorite out there. It's a really, you know, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. And you know, I mean, it's just we planted more, you know, and one reason, you know, that you and I kind of took off of Mourvèdre was in the really bad frost years of 13 and 14. They were the only red grapes around was Mourvèdre.
Yeah.
I mean, there were maybe a couple of different varieties, and so we really saw it as being something that I think you know, William Chris and Lost Straw both are you know, very keen on sustainability and having something that fits the area and you know, can be here, you know, whenever and year in and year out, you can make grapes from it. And for the most part, in the last, you know, 10 or 12 years, I guess, Mourvèdre's been there every year. There may be one or something like that. This year may be it, but you know, I mean, if you on the high plains, I mean, if you can make a crop 9 out of 10 years on a red grape, you did real well. And a lot of people planted Mourvèdre because of the notoriety that you brought to it at William Chris, and the fact that it's, you know, other wineries copied you. I mean, you know what they say, imitations is the biggest form of flattery, right? Is that how you say that? I can't remember.
I think that's right.
But I mean, and that's what you've done. I mean, I you know, I never have Mourvèdre that I can't sell. It's so versatile. You know, man, you guys have made great rosés out of it. You made great red wines, and it blends so well. So yeah, it's been a journey. It's been a great journey, you know. And we're if you're the biggest producer of it, we've got to be close to one of the largest plantings of it. I would guess 30% of all of our 200 acres is Mourvèdre. Maybe not quite that much, but
Sure.
you know, we're heading that way for sure.
Well, Andy, just thank you so much for always being there for us, man. I know that it just, and we're going to have Anthony and Nick on, but I feel like working with you guys and some of the best growers in the High Plains, the conversations that we have in the vineyard now are so different than they were 10 years ago. So they were 5 years ago. And I feel like, you know, it is so awesome to have partners. I mean, I love that, you know, you don't grow grapes for me or Bill. You know, we grow grapes together and we make wine together because it's all made in the field. And I know that I really just so appreciate you and respect you, man.
Well, hey, man, you built a lot of people along with William Chris, and I'm just glad to be along for the ride.
Oh, shoot, likewise, amigo. And thank you for always being a guiding light to the industry, too. I know that you're a great leader of the High Plains growers, and people all look up to you and gathered a lot of folks. So keep doing what you're doing, man. I know I don't want to get too deep in the weeds, but 2020 vintage of Mourvèdre might be the first crop we've ever missed. And, we had a late freeze in 2019 which was really kind of freak.
Early.
No, a late freeze. So it was October. So it was.
You wouldn't consider that early, like before winter starts?
No, I would call it a late freeze.
Huh.
Andy, please.
What do you call it, Andy?
I'm gonna side with your wife. It was too early. It got cold too early. In the spring, it gets cold too late. And that goes back to that. You know, I'm really glad y'all had the Aggie education where she was able to inform you horizontal and vertical. You know. Way to go, Catherine.
You're dead to me, Andy. You're dead to me.
I'm sorry.
Take away all that stuff I just said about you.
I know. I had to put that in. But you know, the funny. That's not funny, but I mean, like, grapes weren't the only thing that were hurt. There's a lot of 7 to 10 year old pecan orchards that got blasted. You know, I mean, there's a lot of horticultural stuff. But you know what? I mean, the last time this happened was in the late 80s. So we're going to learn from it. We've always adapted. Anytime there's been something that's come up that's presented a roadblock to us, we have always overcome it, and we're going to figure this out. It's not the end of the world. We're going to figure it out. And you know, there's some cultural practices we can do. I do will say one thing. I think that the Mourvèdre at Lost Draw, as it comes, you know, up on its 12, you know, almost 12 years old, you're going to see that vineyard, I think, make more intense fruit, but the yield is going to be significantly less.
Yeah.
I think you're looking at, there's only a little over 4 acres there. I think you're looking at, 3 tons an acre, 12 tons, that's, 65. That's 700 cases or so off that whole block. But I think as it matures, I think it's really going to be a super intense wine for you guys going forward.
I couldn't agree more. And I think that, like this year we're looking at, in previous years, we've actually been able to work with you guys to farm differently and actually pay more.
Definitely.
Because we've built a program with our great fans. And I tell you what, it's been awesome to build a program because it sets a model for us to use for other vineyards too, to say, hey, when we have this kind of demand for a wine, then we can help grow the program and we can in turn give that money back to the grower and help you invest in hail netting and wind machines and all these things to protect to make a better crop. It's not proof, but I know Nick and Anthony, we've done the same thing with and seen like how well they're able to adapt to a lot of the things that the High Plains throws at us.
We know there was a guy the other day I was talking to that has a vineyard on the High Plains, and he was asking me like, I don't understand why you invested hail net. Like, it's super expensive. It's a lot of pain to work. It's expensive to raise up and down. Like, why don't you just take out hail insurance? If it hails, you get the same amount of money. I said, you're missing the whole point. The point is, I want to supply grapes for my wineries. I don't want them going anywhere else. It's not so much the money. Money's a short-term thing, right? Like, yeah, it'll get me out of this year, but I'm a jealous vineyard owner. I don't want my guys going anywhere else. I'll admit it. I'm jealous. I don't want you going anywhere else. I want to be able to supply you. And when we can get to the point to where you're never having to look, somewhere else, then we become a mature industry. And that's the thing is I want to be a consistent supplier, because that was one of the knocks of the industry when it first started in the 80s was that, we had to go to California and start making, cheap ass wine and add sugar to it because the growers out here were so terrible. They couldn't, there's only 2 growers really that could make it through the whole thing, and they're legends. And, us younger guys, when we came in and started, we could see how that could be real easy, but we're growers, we're farmers, and we want to be here for the long haul. And so we're going to figure out, it's never stopped us. The guys follow me, Nick, Anthony, and Bill. Those guys, they're a little younger than me. Bill's just a little bit older than me, but he's persevered. Perseverance. I'll tell you what, you got to persevere in this industry, and you got to keep glass half full.
Well, Andy, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. I love you. Yep. I'll be up there
again,
next week or the week after next. So I'll
okay.
The vineyard Cinso block was looking good the other day too.
So. All right. I want to say thank you to all the William Chris customers, because indirectly you've benefited my family because you bought wine from William Chris over these last 2 months. And it's definitely a trickle down effect. And you keep these guys healthy, they keep me healthy and keep my family on the farm.
How many other families work for you, Andy?
I can't count. A lot. I don't know. Probably 25. Not as many as you, but probably 20 or 25. And I'll be honest with you, like the guys that are working in the vineyard, they're. We have a lot of long talks with them. They're it's mainly Hispanic population. My girl Frances has been with me for 10 years. Started out just pruning in the vineyard, now is a crew leader of about 30 people. And I told her, I said, hey, this is important. Tell your guys that come to the vineyard, and then we can keep them distance. And when you go home, tell them don't be going out. Because one of you guys gets sick, we're all shut down.
Right.
And they've really been strong throughout this 2 months. And without Frances Fuentes and her crew, there's I don't know where I would be without them. And so it's, I may be the guy that's on the internet, but they're the real stars. My brother Dusty and Ronald Luker have been with me through this whole time too. And, we haven't been staying at home, man. We've been burning the midnight oil. Yeah. Yeah. The grapes don't know there's a quarantine going on.
Well, thank you so much, man. I love you.
Yeah.
And
cheers to you, Andy.
Cheers
thank
to
you.
This wine is delicious, and it's all you, brother.
Both of
thank you,
buddy.
Isn't it amazing how different these two wines are. I still have a little bit of my Timmons. I mean, the nose on.
And they're
It's like
farmed
night
by
and
the
day.
same team.
Yeah.
And they're farmed probably
30
30
miles?
miles. Yeah.
This is why I love Mourvèdre. So
Yeah.
always so good, but it can be so versatile.
So expressive of where it's
Yeah.
grown. And, wine is the ultimate expression of place and of time. And I want to let you know that when we're drinking these wines, tomorrow they'll be different. And then in a week from now, they'll be different.
I want to talk about tomorrow. Continue your thought.
Yes. Okay. No.
No.
Go
Okay.
ahead.
So there was a question last week that I meant to address, and then we got distracted. And someone said, "How can I save these wines? I've got 4 bottles in front of me." Last week it was earlier in the day.
Drink
but-
them all. Just chuck them.
But I mean, here we are. It's 8:30. Chances are you're not going to finish all 4 bottles tonight. If you are going to, you're better than I am. But probably most of you want to save
You're
some.
going to finish it all.
Anyway, some of you probably want to save some. So what is the best way? What advice could you give to best preserve these wines that are open right now?
A couple of different things. One,
Don't-
when you put the cork in, don't put it in a little bit. Shove it in as much as you can, even if you have to use the corkscrew again, no problem. And then put the wines in the fridge. No problem to put the wines in the fridge.
Not your wine fridge, like your food fridge.
And as you can tell, in a couple of these corks were a little bit, they had a little bit of sediment on them. Most of these wines are totally unfiltered, totally unfined. And if we do filter them, it's only very lightly. So they're going to drop sediment. They're going to throw sediment. So don't be worried if you uncork. I think the Timmons estate had a little love on the.
I think it was the farm. Was it the Timmons estate? Oh, it was the Farmhouse.
One
One of them had
yeah.
something.
But don't be worried about that at all. It's just a little protein. It's just a little sediment, and that's because our wines are just they're grape yeast, minimum sulfites, very very basic made wines. So let's jump on in to the. Actually, Kelsey, do we have any questions?
Oh,
by
we
the
do,
way?
we do.
Yes. So what kind of notes were you guys getting on the lost straw?
Man, the lost straw, I get all you can pick lost straw out of a lineup. Any vintage, you can still pick it out. That kind of cherry cola, a little bit of that herbaceousness, that sage aspect. I love lost straw, and I know that Catherine is a long time fan of the lost straw. We'll go back to
Yeah, I know. Well, hold on. Let me get rid
There
of
you
this Timmons that was still lingering. That's mine.
But I think that note of sand sage, and what's cool is you can pick up this little plant, and it's only grown really in the southern and on the western part. And you don't there's no sand sage around Timmons Estate, and there's no sand sage, say, at Moonlight. But if you go to, there's a little bit around Farmhouse. But if you go farther west, even at Buena Suerte, which these names may not mean very much to you guys, but you can pick up that sand sage and that, or desert sage, which is growing all around. It's a wild plant, and I pick a lot of that up here. And I just I love that kind of cherry cola, or that fresh strawberry that you get from, or stewed strawberry rather, that you get from Lost Straw. So, Kelsey, what other questions do we have?
How long was this in oak for?
Did you say 18 months?
Yeah, this is about 18, 19 months, mostly in Eastern European oak. There's only about 20%.
Just so you know, we did pour the next one, but we're back to talking about lost straw. So don't get confused.
Only
we're
about
back on lost straw.
20% new oak on this as well. So let's move right into Annie's block, Mourvèdre. This comes from the High Estate. This is located actually right behind me in High Texas. So we're going from the high plains all the way down to the hill country. This is the Pedernales River Valley. Wow, totally different wine than we've been drinking. Gosh, I don't know. Yeah, I don't even know where to start with this. A little mocha and espresso. Yeah,
too.
Absolutely.
That just jumps out at you.
Kind of fresh Bing cherry, a little blueberry, a lot of blue fruit.
I get a lot of the cherry. Little.
Wow, love this wine. It's fresh. This one's got a lot of life to it.
This has a lot of that cola too, though.
Yeah,
Even
absolutely.
though it's so different, I get that cola.
So very interesting. You say that.
Is
The
it?
cola and the violets that I get off of this wine. These are both grown off limestone. So even though the Pedernales River Valley was formed at a totally different time than the Texas High Plains was, they're still grown off limestone. So meaning like caliche. So there's probably, and I'll let Bill's about to be on. Bill talk about how deep the soil is here. But the Pedernales River Valley, these farm both, but you can get a little bit of the same theme. And what's cool is if you taste the wines off the Hickory Sands, which are north of Fredericksburg, they taste totally different than these wines. And you don't get the same aromatics off of them in the same texture. So
That's crazy.
yeah, this is
So
off
much
Annie's
to
block, named after Bill's daughter. And today we have a little surprise for you. We've got Bill, or the William part of William, Chris, and Annie, his daughter, who's in Austin, that this block is named after. Hey Annie, hey Bill, hey Beth.
Hey, Chris. Hi, Ann.
Hey, Dad.
Great.
It was great to see you. Annie was out at the tasting room today, and it was awesome. I like selfishly wanted to give you a big hug, and you said, "I can't. I'm quarantining to see my daddy, and I can't give you a hug." I totally appreciate that. So I'm sorry. I was so excited to see you. I haven't seen you in a while, and I was just and you're out with your boyfriend now. It was great to see you. So thank you for coming. Though I really appreciate it.
Of course, it was so cool to be able to go out to the winery. I hadn't been out since the last pickup party just before the crisis hit. So it was really cool to be out there and see all the people, out on the lawn, and like you said, the kids blowing bubbles, and get to feel a little bit normal for a second. So,
Yeah.
It is nice to feel closer to normal. Not there yet,
No.
but
So Bill.
Chris, a hug, it's not normal, but at least I got to see him.
Yeah, don't say the double N word, because I feel like as a company we are whatever we were in January is what that is, and we are starting fresh and we're building a whole new frontier.
there is no normal anymore.
Yeah, that's right, and that's okay.
It's all new.
Yeah,
The new anymore.
that's okay. Wait.
Not normal, new.
So Bill, tell us about the Pedernales River Valley and this Mourvèdre block and Annie's block.
Yeah, it is a lot different. It's down on the lowest end of the highest state, and it's kind of a slate rock that it's sitting on, and the farther down you go, it's just really gets rockier and rockier. So it's kind of a slate, a calcareous slate, as opposed to when you get up into the knot and closer to the tasting room, you're getting into more of a just calcareous caliche. So it's real dry down there. It takes a lot of water.
Yeah.
And I think that's what brings it to me. When you were talking about the wine, Chris, I get such a chewiness in the wine that you just have it in a bowl, and it's so chewy and nice and so different than the high plains, and as you say, the hickory stands that are north of Fredericksburg. So that's it. It's a small block. It's a half acre, and making a wonderful wine. And that's why we call it Anne Marie's block, because she's so wonderful.
Annie, I think you told me a little story earlier. Would you tell me a story about your block?
Well, that's so sweet that my father named it after me, apparently, because I didn't know this until I got an email from William Chris Wine Club saying it was coming out. And it said, "Oh, we have all these Mourvèdres coming out." It was a big pickup thing. And I'm sorry, there's a helicopter above me right now. It's a bit loud. Of course, at all time. Anywho, I got the general email, and it said Anne-Marie's name, and it also said my brother's name. He doesn't have a Mourvèdre. I think his is Merlot, perhaps. And I read this email, and I was like, what is happening? Why is my name on this email? This is so bizarre. And then I thought, well, that's really cool, but there's no way it's going to come out and say Annie's block on the label. It's just referred to Annie's block, so we know where it is in the world. And then I get to the pickup party, and I believe it was Anthony, I'm not positive, who comes up to me and he's like, "Do you want one of your bottles of wine?" And I thought, oh, sure, a bottle of wine sounds great. And he brings me the Annie block, and it says, I believe, Annie's block on it. And I about burst into tears because I think that's so precious. But it was really funny because I saw my dad later in the day, and I had to admit to him that I actually had no idea that it was named after me. I knew, of course, that the vineyards were out there. I'd grown up out there, but I didn't know they were named after me and my brother, and it turns out your children. So it's been really fun, and it's been a great entrance into the Mourvèdre because I think Mourvèdre is one of my favorite William Chris, if not complete favorite. I definitely suggest it to all my colleagues and friends when they go out there. So it's exciting to be a part of Mourvèdre, even inadvertently, without me knowing.
You with that, Bill? I think Blackman Ranch needs an acre of Mourvèdre.
Yeah, I think that would be a great idea.
More rain. You got to bring a bulldozer out.
Oh man, well, thank you, Annie. I really appreciate it. And Bill, it's so great to see you, man. I missed you this week.
Oh yeah, thank you, Chris. And yeah, Mourvèdre is going to be a great grape for Texas and all the regions, I think. And it's so fun to see the different nuances of the different vineyards all over the state, what it can produce. Yeah.
I'll correct you on one thing. I don't think it's going to. I think it is.
Yeah, right.
I think if anybody's proved it, we have in the past decade. And I think so much for all the wings or the wind beneath our wings to go on all our crazy adventures together, man. On Mourvèdre, I know it's been a wild ride.
Yeah. Who knew Mourvèdre?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, thank you guys very much, and cheers. I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I miss you, and hopefully we'll see you in Mason next week, okay?
Awesome. Yes, for sure.
Cheers, guys. Thanks, Andy. It's great to see you.
Thank you.
Wow.
So good.
I don't know. I don't know.
I can't not say Lost Straw is my favorite, but man, this is giving it a run for
But
its money.
what's fun about wine is like, these are apples and oranges. They're all different Mourvèdres. And I think that is so cool about wine. It's like, you don't have to pick your favorite because you just get to experience.
It's not Lost, that's Lost Straw. I mean, they're so different.
They're night and day different.
Crazy.
And they're all from the same vintage, which is really incredible. And I will say we had an amazing vintage in the Hill Country and in the High Plains at the same time. Also, guys, before I forget too, we got some really, really cool deals. Coming up. So I want you to, we got some surprises. And of course, like in William Chris fashion, we're going to wait till the end to let them all out.
Well, speaking of surprises, and we have more, like you said, coming, but last week, the first few of you who ordered got that bonus bottle of rosé. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you haven't yet, enjoy it this weekend. It's a holiday weekend, perfect time for a rosé. I hope you're going to do something special on Monday.
Yeah, the Carignan Mourvèdre rosé. Yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying that at home right now.
Well, not right now. They're enjoying Mourvèdres right now.
That's a very good point. Very valid point. Very valid point.
Whatever you're enjoying, I hope you're enjoying it.
All right, back to Farmhouse.
Back to Farmhouse.
Yeah,
Don't drink what you just poured.
We just poured the Farmhouse. Of course, this is 2017, and this is in between Lubbock and let me go that way. There you go. Lubbock and Brownfield. Meadow is
there. Thank you for the map assist.
And really, Meadow, the Farmhouse Vineyard might be a little like west of where that dot is, but that's okay. It gets us pretty close. But Farmhouse Vineyards, I think these guys are incredibly progressive. Nick and Anthony, Nick Seaton and Anthony Ferguson, very dear friends of mine and ours, but they've been huge supporters of William Chris. Nick's bride, Katie Jane, is just a wonderful girl. We've known each other for even longer. She was
before William Chris was a thing. We knew Katie Jane.
She used to be the executive director of the Hill Country Wineries Association before they hooked up. But I gotta take my hats off to Nick and Anthony. They are some of the most innovative, awesome young farmers, and I think that I'm so stoked to see people of my generation getting involved in the High Plains and doing what they do. So it's pretty awesome. And let's bring on Nick and Anthony. I think we got them both on, and they are also braving the hailstorm and the tornado. And
they're still here.
I think Anthony had to go. His internet was messing up.
Neighbors?
And he said that his neighbor had to let him in and use his internet. Is that right, Anthony?
Yeah. So my neighbor, he was kind enough. Actually, he was over at the house corralling my kids while this is all happening. So I owe him a couple bottles of wine.
This is Linz. Who is this?
That. Do what?
Is this Linz?
No, this is my neighbor Trey Lavery. So shout out to Trey and Denise. Thank you for letting me use your house. So he's corralling the kids, and I'm over at their house using their internet. So we're having some surges. We haven't got any rain or anything here. It's just been like 50-mile-an-hour winds, so it's been pretty
spitting.
Yeah, been an awesome afternoon of just sand blowing. So,
well, guys, Nick, Anthony. First of all, thank you so much for. I show up the other day and I bring. We went up to the high plains, and I'm sorry, Nick. I hope you got some peaches, but I dropped off some Fredericksburg peaches, and
they were awesome.
He turns right around and he goes, "Hey, I've got all these watermelon seeds in the back. These guys are planting. They're crazy. One year they're planting black-eyed peas. The next year they're planting watermelon. You guys are planting 180 acres of watermelons, right?"
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
That's a lot of watermelon.
But they gave us some super special seeds that we're going to plant at the High Estate, so at our Epic Garden. So thank you guys very much. I really appreciate it. But why don't you guys talk about why your soil and meadow is different than, say, Lost Straw, or what's the significance? I know we get a lot sandier once we go out west, and it's we're talking about 30 miles total from Timmons Estate to Lost Straw, and you guys are not smack dab in the middle. You're a lot more farther south, but you're probably 10 miles from Lost Straw?
Yes, sir. We're about 10 to 12 miles, and we're a little more clay, a little red clay. That particular site is got some Amarillo sandy loam in it, and it's I think it's an awesome red site, and it's been that's where our heaviest Mourvèdre is planted, and it's really done good in the past. We're real pleased with that site.
It should also be noted that you guys farm a quarter mile from La Cordera. You guys have a vineyard down there where the White House Parker is. Also, Farmhouse, guys, for all you watching, Farmhouse Vineyards has their own brand, their own winery. They have the Tipsy trailer,
they have their own
tasting room in Johnson City. They have
a
tasting room in Brownfield too. Definitely visit those guys because they're right down the road from us, and another place in Brownfield as well. But you guys farm right down the street from La Cordera, and not only that, but how you guys have been farming this your whole life, right? I mean, how long have y'all been farming not just grapes but that land? Anthony and Nick.
Well, me and Nick are brother-in-laws, so I married Nick's sister, just for if anybody's wondering. So that's kind of how we got together.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so we started farming. We both grew up farming. I grew up on the New Mexico-Texas state line in smack dab in the middle of nowhere. Actually, you go to the middle of nowhere and you make a right and keep going. But my family grew. I grew up growing cotton and wheat and different things, and then Nick being from Terry County, they we were very similar backgrounds, and so So we've been heavily involved in agriculture our entire lives. Are we still connected?
I can't hear. I'm sorry.
You good? You good? I know we were sitting out in the Mourvèdre block the other day, and it's been it's just a big blow with everything going on, and to see this damage in that Mourvèdre block, it's been pretty heavy. I know that we got a good plan to bounce back and be up and running next year. But I want to remember this 2017 vintage and how epic that was. I mean, do you remember the high fives going around? I mean, it was just such a rockin' vintage, bringing in that fruit, especially late in the year. We're always worried about rain, and I hope you guys remember. It was just getting better and better and better. It seemed like. Which do you guys remember those wonderful evenings when we harvested all that fruit?
Yeah, that was a vintage for sure. That's going to go down in the record books. It was fun till the bitter end, and there's nothing much more rewarding than to be able to hang it till it's right. And when y'all are happy with it, we're extremely happy with it. And when you can get your fruit into the hands of the great winemakers and let them touch it and put their magic on it, it's very rewarding. And in other crops we don't see that. But 17 is one that's going to go down in the record books.
Yeah, I think Texas will be chasing 17 for many years. So for me, it's the year of Hurricane Harvey. That harvest was very stressful. We were, on the high plains, you can pretty much set your timer that we're going to have a low pressure or an organized hurricane, if you will, come off the Baja and track across us sometime during grape harvest. It just happens. That's just kind of the way our weather works, and so we know that, we prepare for it, and we do try to viticulturally, make sure that we're sanitized and have everything in order to keep the grapes clean. And so I remember very vividly 17 looked like we were fixing to just get the bottom dropped on us, if you will, from a rain standpoint. And Hurricane Harvey was coming in and was just such a strong force. So everybody that went through that, in Houston, and I know that was a terrible deal, but it was a very good thing for the grapes on the high plains, because it created such a high pressure on our end, and it just like you said, it made magic on the vines, and the high fives. I'll never forget them. It was incredible, because we could just sit there and wait and let the grapes really come into their own phenolically, and just anyway. And that's what we're having in this bottle. And I'm drinking the Farmhouse 17 right now. It's really awesome. I'm really proud of it. And that's one of my most favorite things about growing grapes, is being able to to taste your work and your effort, and it's just so rewarding. And also, so thank you for that. Thank you for making such a great wine.
I've never thought about that as, I don't know if you've farmed any, I don't know your background like Chris probably does, but like Andy, who had farmed other crops before grapes, it's got to be really nice to be able to revisit those years. Whereas if you were growing watermelons, you have to eat them in the next few months, and you never can remember. You never revisit it and relive in quite the same way. That's got to be pretty cool.
Yeah, or when your Hanes T-shirt shows up with the stamp that says "Made in China," you know it's not made in China; it's made in Perry County, but nobody sees that.
Well,
That's a
Nick,
good point.
I think that's a great point, and that's why I love not pioneers such as yourself, but there's not a lot of young farmers jumping in grapes right now, and I think you guys would agree with me. And this,
It's a lot easier way to serve the Lord, I can assure you.
Well, you guys are some of the most diverse farmers on the high plains, and to all our fans watching out there, keep a lookout for these guys, because they're doing great things, and they are. I say the next generation. I hope that I'm included in that next generation, because we're all the same age. But I feel like we're doing some really cool stuff, and to see these guys and what they're doing in growing not only cotton in a unique way, but what they're doing with watermelons. They see openings in the market. They grew black-eyed peas. Are you guys still growing black-eyed peas?
Yeah, so we're not intentionally growing black-eyed peas this year. We're kind of giving that market a break. But as you well know how violent the weather is up here, black-eyed peas make a really good secondary crop for a number of reasons. They're quick. We can plant them in up to probably around July the 4th and still have a good harvest. So. It makes a good catch crop, if you will, and it's a legume, so it's a rebuilder of the soil, and it fixates nitrogen back in, and so there's a lot of really good benefits to growing the black-eyed peas. But the market's a little down this year, so we We didn't go down that road just yet, but we
I
sure might.
think we're going to need extra luck for 2021, so you may need to plant some.
2020 is gonna mow, man. Kelsey,
Yeah, we're gonna grow some in the garden so we can at least make sure we're eating them for New Year's for sure.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we got a question from a viewer.
Yeah,
Kelsey's
Kelsey, what do we got?
What characteristics notes are you guys getting on the farmhouse?
Ooh,
Right.
so first of all, I like, this is big alcohol. So this is very ripe.
What is it?
It's like 15.2.
Oh, it is
15.4.
high. Mhm.
So this wine got incredibly ripe. We were harvesting these grapes at 28, 27 bricks. I think we did 2 pickings on this, so it's like a little bit of a range. But again, big cola, a lot of that stewed red fruit, a little bit of that sand sage as well, and then I get a little bit of that kind of like vanilla and coconut. That's coming from the Eastern European oak, which I really appreciate, and that it's like right on the edge of jamminess, you know. But I think, man, I love all, like, if you were judging a swimsuits contest here, they're all beautiful ladies, right? And that's what I love. They're all like different, and they're all like totally, they've got different personalities and different looks and different features, which I think is. Like, I love that. I love that about wine. I love that about these wines that, you know, you talk about a great vintage in the hill country, a great vintage in the high plains. And this is what site is all about, because we're not talking about, especially if you take out the Timmons estate, you're not talking about dramatically different winemaking techniques, right? All these were made in a very similar fashion, fermented in a very similar fashion. The oak profile is a very similar fashion. And look what you get. And I think we were talking earlier, Nick and Anthony, like, I would say that you guys do slightly different things than Andy and the Lost Draw team, but not drastically. You know, spacing similar, you know, aspect of the vineyard is very similar. I know you guys do some stuff different than Andy, but I wouldn't say it's like night and day different farming or anything like that. And look at what a different site will do for you. All in the same growing season. I would definitely say too that these guys were all picked probably within the 10-day difference, maybe. So not very much. So
yeah. Well, I'd like to give a shout out to Andy. And you know, when y'all were talking with Andy earlier, y'all were visiting about wind machines and hell netting and different things, and you know, talking about how Andy's kind of brought a lot of these adaptations to the high plains. And so Mourvèdre is, you know, 2013, or was it 14, Nick, when we went out and that was the only thing alive? What year was that?
That would have been
the picket, and you were sitting on the turnaround. There were like 8 trucks out there. I think it was that La Pradera, and you remember that? I think it was in 13.
It was in 14 because you know, we had the 13 freeze and he implemented the wind machines, and that was one of the main deals that we could see live fruit out there, and live plants, and that's the reason we went the direction we did with the wind machines. Is, you know, that proved it right there, and that's
in the Mourvèdre, that's
laying the foundation.
Well, and I'll tell all the viewers out there, when they're talking about wind machines, we're talking about, you know, roughly 15 acres of coverage, and these guys are investing $35,000 a wind machine. And how many wind machines do you guys own? Yeah, $40,000. Oh yeah, you gotta fill up the propane tank, and you gotta build the foundation. So like 42. Yeah. These guys had one blow up on them too. They had a fire.
Yeah, we sure did.
Yeah, we unfortunately experienced a little too much of it.
Well, guys, thank you for your farming. Like, I like from a consumer standpoint, not as a winemaker. Thank you guys for braving the weather, for farming great crops, not just grapes. Like, I commend you guys on what you do. I respect you incredibly, and thank you for, like, I can't tell you how awesome it is that as a consumer and as a winemaker and as a businessman to have such great partners such as yourself. So keep doing what you do, guys, and I really appreciate you. And we'll see you soon.
Thank you so much, Chris. It's all about the relationships, and I believe that there's so many Texans out there that's gonna buy into the wine Texas industry, and those relationships are only gonna get better and bigger.
That's right.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thank y'all.
Thanks, guys.
Stay safe in the storm.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity to be on here, and to the consumer, the people that are buying this wine. Thank you, because if you don't buy the wine, we can't grow the grapes, and we can't do what we were put on this earth to do. So thank you so much, and we'll see you sometime soon.
Cheers, man. Yeah.
Cheers.
Bye, guys.
Somebody commented earlier that they miss us cheersing at the end of every grape or every wine.
Well, I feel
We can get back to that.
Do you want us to make out at the end of everyone? Because I can definitely. It's a horizontal taste.
She did not say that.
No making out.
I mean.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Which
We
leads
get a question?
Yes.
Okay.
We were asked what good food pairings went well with Farmhouse.
Okay. So I want to bring these guys up to Oklahoma because when we had about 3 bottles of this last time we were in Oklahoma duck hunting, or goose and duck hunting. But we had amazing goose breast, and we had one of our barrel reps with her, Guillaume. I hope he's watching, by the way. So we took salt and pepper and just seared these fresh goose breasts and smothered them in butter. And goose duck is an amazing pairing for this. Pork loin, the cherries in this with pork loin just sing. So I highly, highly recommend pork. I mean, not everybody can get duck breast, but if you can, I highly recommend duck breast or goose breast. When you're doing the goose and duck, make sure it's about medium rare. I'd be very careful to not overcook it. Man, you talk about the flavors just pop. Really, really, really incredible. Also roasted pork loin. I mean, yeah.
Go simple.
Yeah, for sure.
If you can't get the duck.
Chelsea, I think we have another question. Talk to me.
We do have another question.
We have
It's
a bunch of stuff.
where-
We have a really cool deal coming up, and I'm like so jacked up, but I mean, really.
One more. So people are asking, where can they still get this pack?
Oh, absolutely. So
Please.
that's something that's very important. So this pack is definitely available. I don't know if he almost had a heart attack, but our CFO was like super stressed out this week. He always is worried about the numbers. I don't know, But
I don't know where he
like,
gets it.
he goes, he was yelling at Anthony, and he's like, you guys like have four red wines. Do you how are you gonna figure this out? And we're like, take it easy, man. Just go with the flow.
They're gonna love it.
Yeah, they're gonna love it. So you guys can order another one of these, because I think in another 2 days it's gonna turn off. So if you want to order another pack, it's a smoking
If you didn't
deal.
get to try it,
Yeah, or
You
if,
should try it.
or if you just want another one.
if you loved it,
And if not,
it's not- get
it's
some
okay,
more.
because I'm gonna drink it all. It's fine, like all these. Yeah, I just put them in my library and I'm okay. So,
We're good at that.
but coming up, okay. Before I wanna pause everybody. Like, stop what you're doing. I know everybody's like clickety clacking, like
Oh, yeah.
ready to get on the internet.
Don't shop
I
yet.
love you. Don't shop yet. Hold on. Pump the brakes. Deep breath. Okay, everybody take a sip. Let's cheers. Cheers.
Well, yeah, we need some more cheersing. I wish I could remember who had said that earlier.
Yeah. hold
Which
on.
one are you going
I gotta-
back?
I
You
gotta
going to some
refill.
more Farmhouse?
Yeah, I'm going more Farmhouse.
I finished
the
my
high
Farmhouse
octane.
and now I'm back on Annie's.
It's high octane. I need a little pop. Hey, by the way, before I forget too, our kids, they went on strike. Like, we didn't even mention that
They
today.
did not, they actually didn't go on strike.
They got a
their
better
mom-
deal is what happened.
Well,
They got a better deal.
Chris's parents came to town, which is a better deal than dancing on film, or not even film. There's no film anymore. Dancing live. And it's past their bedtime.
Yeah, they got pizza and dessert, guaranteed dessert. They go out with my parents.
They don't need
Dessert
dessert
for
though,
sure.
because this week was our youngest birthday and they've had dessert all week.
Yeah,
Insane amount.
3 birthday parties. Tess, Caroline, got stung by a scorpion last night. We're
Right.
having a slumber party. 4 little girls over the house, mayhem, stuff's going everywhere. Like,
And then a scorpion comes in and
Yeah.
gets inside her pajamas.
life in the hill country, man.
Like,
Yeah.
gets her back like
I
6
grew-
times, and then she tries to swat it, and it gets her finger.
And it was on my hand, but it didn't sting me. But anyways, crazy week. Crazy week. This life in the hill country, man.
Anyway, so that our kids aren't here because they're
Yeah.
with Chris's parents. Very long story short. That's
But they wanted to dance, but they went for pizza instead. Sorry, guys. Next week.
hopefully they're asleep. But thank you, Bruce and Sue, for keeping them. We appreciate it.
Very much. Okay, coming up, we got a really cool pack and we got some deals. So before you get online, I promise you it'll be okay. So hold
Hear
on.
us out so you can hear the code to get your deal.
Yes. So a couple of things about next week's pack. Also next week,
Time.
my girlfriend and I, we take a river trip every year. We go stay at a really cool little house in Mason. And we invite some friends and family and all that good stuff. And we've been doing it for years. So we are going to go to Par Vineyards. Actually the Par Vineyards tasting room. And we're going to do a live tasting from there at 2:00 next
It's going to
Saturday.
be Hill Country wine. So we're going to highlight the Hill Country 2 p.m.
Yes.
New time again.
So
Switching it up.
very important, before you guys jump on the website, listen carefully because we want to get you
So
the
many
most
things.
bang for your buck. This week's virtual tasting is all about the Hill Country. So we've got
Let me help.
the Varasian Hills Rosé. This is from the Dickey family. Really, really cool rosé. And it is grown right outside of Mason and Pontotoc. We've got the Enchante 2018 All Hickory Sands Fruit. Oh my God, banging bottle of wine. This has got Robert Clay Vineyards in it. This has got Granite Hill Vineyards in it. One of our epic bottles of wine that's kind of a pillar for our company. We've got the Tempranillo from 2015 from Par Vineyards, which is amazing. Rob Parr and his beautiful bride, they have a beautiful vineyard, and that we're going to actually be hosting from their tasting room. I think we're going to introduce them so you get to meet them and hopefully go and try their wine someday.
Are they going to be there?
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to shut down their tasting room and do tastings outside just for us, which is pretty awesome.
That is awesome.
Kelsey's going to come. We're going to party. We're going to jump in the river. It'll be awesome.
And then it's going to be a mini horizontal with the 16.
Are we going to get horizontal next week?
Just mini.
Mini. What is that? Come on. So that's
Anyway,
a vertical.
this is a
No,
six-
it's not a mini horizontal.
It's a double horizontal.
It's a vertical. It's two vintages.
Oh yeah, just kidding. You got me all thrown off with our little video you did with a vertical horizontal.
So
Earlier someone said I was always right. I'm not
Different,
always right.
So all this is like Mason County fruit, but here's the special thing, guys. We got, for the first 100 people, we got a really cool bottle of Verjus. So I love this. This Verjus we had, I think, in our first or second pack. This Verjus is delicious. It's not wine, by the way.
Yeah, tell people
so
what
it's
it is.
it's Tannat. We pick it from right here, and what we do is we pick it when it's really underripe, and then we press it out, and it doesn't ferment or anything. It's like vinegar without the acetic acid. So it's almost like lemon juice, and you can use this. And Chef Ty is going to be doing 2 different recipes. So if you get this, the first 100 people, if you go right now, you can.
Don't go yet.
Don't
We
go yet.
haven't
Hold
told
on.
you the code yet.
Yeah, I haven't told you the code. But you can get a bottle of Verjus, and if you add a 6th bottle, you get shipping included. We're also going to include a handy dandy thing of rosemary salt.
There's also going to be a recipe for that. Recipe
Yes.
for the Verjus. Recipe for the salt.
You guys are going to have like this most epic weekend next weekend. I'm jealous. We're going to be at the river. We're going to have a great time. You're going to have a great time. So before you go buy it, because we love you, use the code WCV Strong. Again, use the
$20
code WCV Strong. And I need to tell everybody right now, listen, pay attention. It is, I don't even know what time it is, 9 o'clock?
Yeah, a little bit.
So all of our people had a very long day today. There's nobody answering the phone. If you need something,
We're the only people working here. Us and
there's
Kelsey.
nobody here. So if you need to call, don't have a problem calling. Leave a message, and our guys and girls will get back to you in the morning. But if you need something and you need to call, we will make it all special and all perfect for you.
But even better, look carefully for the promo code SLOT and type in WCV Strong, $20 off. Add just one more bottle for shipping on us, and you get.
Yeah, you can
all
add
these
on
things.
one of these. You could also make it a case. Make it a case.
Really bump it up. there.
Summer's long. So, guys, from the 64 families, we love you. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. As you guys
We have
saw,
a question.
we got a question.
That thing.
We will still be live next week, correct?
Oh
Yes,
yeah,
we
we're
will
still
be
live. We're
We'll
just
still be
at
live 2 p.m. We're
new location, new time, but still live.
yeah, we will still be live 2
Tune
p.m.
in with your questions.
You can kick off
all the
happy hour
things.
at 2 o'clock on Saturday. Are you kidding me?
I mean,
Yeah, we're gonna be on fire. It's gonna
it's
be
a
awesome.
summer weekend.
Yeah. But guys, we got a really great pack. I encourage you, get out there, enjoy it. Like, this deal is ridiculous. I mean, like, it really is. And we're happy, you know, that Catherine and I are very happy to do it, to get you these wines. We appreciate the support. We couldn't do it without you. Thank you all so much. I'm so humbled. Our girls appreciate you. Our 64 families appreciate you. As you can see by Nick and Anthony and Andy, their families appreciate you. I hope you understand how meaningful it is to support these wines in our program, and it has huge impact. And so thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And we'll check in with you next week. And by then, from now, excuse me. Before that,
I'm not the only one tripping over my words. Thank goodness.
love your neighbor. Enjoy, and thank you guys so much. We love you. Cheers.
Cheers, y'all.